Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. How are y'all doing on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Thursday? Welcome back to another edition of Nick at Noon. As you are popping in, let me know where you are watching from, where you are listening from. I am coming at you from Denver, Colorado. Where are you? Where in the world are you? Because we are going to be getting into the thing today, y'all. We are going to be talking about why most coaching programs fail professional women. We're going to be talking about why most coaching programs fail professional women. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining on YouTube. Let me know where you're watching from. Where you at? Where in the world are you? Because the thing about it is that most coaching programs are built for the wrong woman. Most coaching programs are built for the wrong woman. And the people who created these programs, they're often quite talented coaches. And the content itself may have real value. But the problem is that the vast majority of coaching programs in this industry were built with one type of woman in mind. And that woman is the woman who is starting from nothing, who is starting from scratch. Hello, hello. Thanks so much for popping in. Thanks for showing me some love. I see the love. Thank you. Most of these programs, they're built for the woman who doesn't have a career. They're built for the woman with no professional experience, with no established credibility in any particular field. Most programs out here in this market, they're built with the type of woman who has extreme ambition and a willingness to grind. I mean, and you need those in this space, regardless of if you're starting from experience or if you're starting from scratch. But here's the thing: if you are not starting from experience, and you are starting from scratch, and you do have the extreme ambition and the willingness to grind, if that is you, there are 1,000 programs out there that are designed for you. 1,000 programs out there that are designed for you. But if you're a professional woman, if you're someone who has spent years building a real, substantive, hard earned experience, and you want to turn that into a coaching business, most of those programs are going to steer you in a completely wrong direction. And I'm going to take some time today and break it down to you why these programs are steering most professional women wrong. So, welcome back to Nick at Noon. My name is Nick Scott, and I'm a business coach who helps women use their existing skills to build sustainable online coaching businesses, sustainable online businesses without quitting their 9 to 5, without the hustle, and without the burnout and overwhelm. And I rarely do this, but if you are watching on YouTube and if you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a notification about when I go live for Nick at Noon and when I upload my regularly scheduled videos every Sunday. Today is Thursday, and on Thursday, I like to dig into some hot takes. I like to give you my perspective about some things. Oftentimes, the things that I say, whether it's on a Thursday or not, it ruffles some feathers. It goes against what is commonly believed out there. And I do believe that part of my role in this, part of my role in developing and building Her Income Edit and launching my programs and selling my digital products, I believe that part of my role in this is to tell the truth, is to let you all behind the scenes and lift up the veil so you can see what it is with your own eyes and hear what it is with your own ears and sense what it is with your own intuition before you make any decisions. Because in this world of AI and we don't know if what we're seeing is actually real, I think that this is really important. This is why this time, this Nick at Noon time, is so important to me because I want you to see that I am a real person. It's literally just me and my computer, and I'm talking with you, and hey, thanks so much for popping in, and I'm engaging with you. So it is Hot Takes Thursday, and this one is personal to me because this hot take that I'm about to get into today, it's the frustration around why I literally built Ignite, okay? So let's get into it. And I want to be specific before we go any further. I want to be specific about what I mean when I say most coaching programs get it wrong. Because I'm not throwing shade just for the sake of throwing shade. Like, I don't do that. But what I am doing is I'm naming a pattern I've watched repeat itself over and over and over and over and over again in the lives of women who came to me after spending money on programs that left them more confused when they completed the program than when they started. And that's a problem. On Tuesday this week, we talked about the 3 biggest misconceptions about building a coaching business. Do y'all remember what those were? If you watched on Tuesday, if you watched the live or you watched the replay, do y'all remember what those 3 misconceptions were? Somebody drop it in the chat because I'm about to give them to you. I'm about to remind you. Those misconceptions were hustle harder and your business will grow faster. The second misconception was audience size, that you need a massive audience before you start to sell anything. And then the third misconception was niching down. And specifically, I talked about why you don't have to niche down before you've even coached a single client. So those are the 3 misconceptions: hustle harder, audience size, and niching down. And I told you that those things were not what moves the needle in your coaching business. But what does move the needle, if you remember from our conversation on Tuesday, is clarity, conversation, and consistency. And I called them the 3 C's. And I said there's even a 4th C, conversion, that we'll get into in another discussion. But here's what I didn't tell you on Tuesday. I didn't tell you that most coaching programs are built around exactly the things that don't move the needle: hustling, audience size, niching down. Most coaching programs teach you how to build a massive content library before you even make a single dollar. They give you a generic ideal client avatar worksheet and call it a niche strategy. And I'm going to be transparent. I was transparent on Tuesday. I'm going to be transparent today. I'm going to be transparent tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and anytime you watch these. I used to coach my clients this way. But I don't anymore because that is not the fastest way to the money, right? If you are a professional woman, if you are a woman and you want to leverage your existing skills and turn it into a sustainable online business, and you're doing it while you're working 9 to 5 and you're doing it with a full life, what you don't have at your disposal is a lot of time. You don't have a lot of time, right? So yeah, I used to coach my clients on that, and you can go back and listen to Tuesday's edition and hear why I coached my clients that way. But I don't do that anymore because it's not the fastest way to the money. So a lot of these other programs, they'll hand you a funnel template and then they'll tell you that the traffic is going to follow. These other programs, they talk about mindset in an abstract way without addressing the specific psychological blocks that professional women face when they try to transition from employee to entrepreneur. And here's the thing, most coaching programs, they almost never acknowledge the thing that makes professional women categorically different from most of their student base. And that categorically different thing about professional women that makes them different from most other coaches' student base is that professional women are not starting from scratch. This one aspect, it matters more than people realize. Because when you build a coaching program for someone who's starting from nothing, the curriculum oftentimes looks like this. Step 1, find your passion. Step 2, identify a skill you can teach. Step 3, build an audience. Step 4, create an offer. And then finally start selling. So you're finding your passion and you're doing all these other things before you even sell. That's not the fastest way to the money. And for someone who genuinely doesn't have an existing professional foundation, that framework does make sense. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Because the fact of the matter is, you have to start somewhere. But when you take that same framework and you hand it to a woman with 15 years of nursing experience or 20 years in the classroom or a decade of corporate HR, you're asking her to ignore the most valuable thing she has. And that is her professional history. That is her pattern recognition, her credibility, and her existing network of people who already trust her. You're telling somebody with all of this skills, expertise, and experience to start from zero when she already is standing on a foundation that most people would spend years trying to build. And that is not a minor inefficiency, y'all. That is a fundamental misalignment between the program and the person. Somebody write that down if you're taking notes, because this is so important as you are shopping around for programs to enroll and looking for coaches to hire. Having a professional woman in a program that's designed for students who are starting from zero is not a minor inefficiency. It is a fundamental misalignment between the program and the woman who enrolled in it. And it produces a very specific outcome. And I'm gonna walk you through it right now. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. I see the love on YouTube. So this is the outcome that it produces. The professional woman, she enrolls. She's like, okay, yes, I am ready to start my coaching business and I'm going to enroll in this program. I'm going to hire this coach. And she enrolls and then she gets partway through the program and then she realizes that the advice that's being given does not fit her situation at all. And she starts trying to adapt by herself everything for her context. Then she gets frustrated and she either quits the program or she convinces herself that the problem is her, or she convinces herself that coaching isn't for her. But the problem isn't her, it's the program. And I want to tell you about the moment when I understood this clearly, crystal clear. And not as a theory I read somewhere, but as a pattern I kept watching repeat itself in real time. As y'all know, or maybe you don't, but I have spent years in the online business world. I have watched this industry from the inside. I have watched this industry from the outside. I have watched this industry from the side to side, okay? I have seen what sells and I have seen what actually works. And one of the things I kept noticing was this: the women who were getting the best results from coaching programs were almost always the ones who had the least professional experience coming in. And the reason had nothing to do with talent or commitment. The programs were simply designed for them. The curriculum mapped out their starting point. The advice made sense for where they were. And then there were professional women. And I'm talking about the ones who came into these programs with deep, substantial, legitimate professional skills and who kept hitting a wall every time they tried to start their coaching business. These women were fully capable of building a business, but they kept being handed tools designed for someone else entirely. Like it just wasn't for them. And here's the specific gap I identified. Professional women don't need to be taught how to find a skill they can monetize because they already have the skills. They already have the skills. Matter of fact, they have multiple overlapping, deeply developed skills built over years of professional practice. So the challenge isn't finding the skill. The challenge is learning to see those skills as coaching capital rather than job functions. That shift from this is what I do at work to this is what people will pay me to teach them requires a completely different conversation than find your passion and build an audience. That shift requires someone to help you look at your professional history through an entrepreneurial lens. That shift requires you to identify which of your skills solve problems that people are actively willing to pay for you to solve. It requires someone to understand how your specific professional context creates a natural coaching niche that doesn't require you to reinvent yourself from the ground up. It requires y'all a framework that takes your existing credibility seriously. It's a framework that says the 17 years I spent building this YouTube channel, the decade of corporate marketing experience that I have, the master's in business administration, the nonprofit leadership, the community work. I need a framework. Professional women need a framework that says none of that starts over when you decide to coach. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down today? Listen, every bit of that experience, skills, expertise, it comes with you. And the right program builds from that foundation instead of asking you to pretend that it doesn't exist, because it does exist. And that's the gap I saw, y'all. And Ignite is what I built to fill that gap. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. And I want to name something that I think is important to understand about why the industry is the way it is, because I don't think most program creators are deliberately misleading people. I don't believe that. Most program creators are not deliberately misleading people. I really believe that the hustle first model persists because it's what the online business world rewards. I mean, just plain and simple. And hustle is visible. Post every day, go live every day, send daily emails, launch every quarter, be everywhere all the time. That activity is measurable. It creates content, it generates engagement, it looks like momentum, even when it isn't producing income. And on the flip side, alignment is often invisible. So, getting clear on exactly who you serve, building an offer around a specific painful problem those people have, positioning yourself with enough specificity that the right person knows immediately that you're for her, having direct conversations instead of broadcasting into a void, none of that looks like activity on social media. None of that generates likes, comments, or follower counts. But what it does is produce revenue. And here is the uncomfortable truth about why hustle focused programs continue to sell. Y'all ready? Somebody drop it in the chat, because hustle feels like progress. Drop that in the chat. Hustle feels like progress. Feels. Remember, feelings are not always facts. And when you're posting every day and engaging with comments and building your content library, you feel like you're doing the work. You feel productive. You feel like you're moving towards something even when the bank account hasn't changed. And that feeling, the feeling of productive busyness, is deeply comforting to professional women who are used to measuring their worth by their output. Come on, somebody. Woo! Alignment requires you to sit with discomfort. It requires you to get specific before you feel ready. It requires you to make an offer before you have a massive audience. It requires you to price your work at what it's worth before you've had 100 clients tell you that you're worth it. Alignment requires you to have direct conversations with prospective clients instead of hiding behind content. Those things are harder than posting. And programs that teach alignment over hustle have to work harder to sell because the promise is less immediately satisfying. Man. Post every day and grow your audience feels better than get specific, have a conversation, make an offer, get to the money. But one of those produces revenue and the other one keeps you busy. Does that make sense? So let me tell you what Ignite is built on. As a philosophy, not as a pitch. I want you to understand why the program is structured the way it is and why the structure matters for professional women specifically. Because Ignite is built on one central belief, and that is that professional women are not starting from scratch. They are starting from strength. And if you're taking notes, I want you to personalize that thing. I am not starting from scratch. I'm starting from strength. And every element of Ignite flows from that belief. So I'm going to walk you through the phases real quick and just tell you what this program is like. The first phase of Ignite is what I call the inventory. So before we talk about niches or offers or marketing strategies, we look at what you already have. We look at your professional history. We look at the problems you solved. We look at the results you've produced. We look at the patterns you've noticed across your years of working in your field. We look at the questions people have been bringing to you for free that are about to become the foundation of your coaching business. Most programs skip this entirely. Ignite, we start here. Because if you don't know what you're building from, you can't build with intention. So the second phase in the program, this is where we take the inventory and we get specific. We skip the abstract conversation about passion and what you love in theory. We focus on the specific person you are most equipped to help. We focus on the specific problem you're most positioned to solve. The specific transformation, this is what we're talking about here, that you can deliver that someone else can't deliver in quite the same way. And that's the niche conversation. But it's grounded in evidence from your own history, your own experience, your own expertise, your own skills, rather than a worksheet about imaginary clients. So the third phase of Ignite, this is where we build something real. We're not building a service menu or a list of everything you're capable of doing. We're building one offer built around what? One problem, priced to reflect the real value of the transformation you deliver. Your offer will be structured so that you can deliver it sustainably. Operative word here, sustainably. Somebody drop sustainably in the chat. Your offer will be structured so that you can deliver it sustainably without burning out, without undercharging, without working yourself into the ground for clients who don't value what you bring. So then the fourth phase is all about the client. This is where you get in front of the right people. We skip the funnel. We skip the viral post strategy, and we go straight to the direct, intentional human conversations that lead to yes. I teach you how to talk about what you do. I teach you how to make an offer without it feeling like a pitch. I also teach you how to handle the questions and the hesitations that come up in real sales conversations, because your first clients are closer than you think. And they don't require you to have a massive audience to find them. And this is the magic of Ignite. And it's woven through every phase, from the first session to the last. And the magic is the mindset work, the identity shift from employee to expert, the pricing confidence, the visibility practice, the belief that what you know is worth paying for. Come on, somebody. Thanks so much for the love on YouTube. I see you. Because strategy without belief does not produce results. And neither does belief without strategy. Ignite, it delivers both. And that is the philosophy that Ignite is built on. No hustle culture, no overnight success promises, no generic framework handed to 1,000 different people and dressed up as a personalized coaching program. Ignite is a structured, specific, professionally grounded process for turning what you already know into what you earn. Okay? So we're just a few days away. Applications for Ignite close on March 23rd, and I want to speak directly to the woman who's been watching these videos over the past 2 weeks and has been nodding along, who's like, yes, Nick Scott, you are talking to me. I want to speak directly to the woman who recognized herself in Monday's episode about not qualified enough, about that belief. I want to talk to the woman who felt Tuesday's conversational, who felt like Tuesday's conversation about hustle versus alignment, who felt it in her spirit. I want to speak directly to the woman who watched yesterday's story, or heard yesterday's story about Miss J and thought that could be me. I can make $10,000 in 21 days. I can raise my rates 3 times. I can make those decisions because it can be you. The framework already exists. The process works. And the only thing standing between you and the version of your business that reflects what you're worth is the decision to stop building alone. Ignite is a 12-week program. And when you join, you'll get live coaching every single one of those 12 weeks. You'll get a cohort of women who are building alongside you. You'll get a framework that's built specifically for women who are starting from strength, not from scratch. So again, applications close on March 23rd. The link is in the description, or you can visit my website at herincomeedit.com/ignite. And if you have any questions about the program, please feel free to send me a DM on Instagram at iNickScott. But here is the hot take that I want to leave you with today. The coaching program that's right for you isn't determined by the biggest name behind it. It isn't determined by the most impressive income screenshots on a sales page. It's not even determined by the promise to 10x your revenue in 90 days. The coaching program that's right for you is the one that was built for someone like you. It's the one that takes your professional history seriously. It's the one that builds from your existing foundation instead of asking you to start over. It is the one that teaches you alignment over hustle. The coaching program that's right for you is the one that delivers a framework you can use in real life with your real responsibilities and on your real timeline. And that's what I built Ignite to be. It's designed specifically for professional women who are done leaving their skills on the table. Check it out, herincomeedit.com/ignite, links in the description. And come back tomorrow. We are 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks into this thing. Set your reminder. Noon tomorrow. And again, if something about Ignite is piquing your interest, applications close on March 23rd. All right?